welcome to the Module 3 exercise video, and we're back to the sort of standard format here, so no more trying to find things in your house that can double up as exercise objects, but we're just back in the garden, in the front room, in your bedroom, wherever you have space to do these exercises. So we're back to the standard format of warm-up, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and cool down. So on to the warm-up. As always, we will start at the top and get your neck moving. And if you're anything like me, it'll click and crunch. That's all the tension from sitting at a computer and all the rest coming out. Then we will move on to the shoulders. And again, just get them moving. Get the tension and stiffness out of them. First backwards, then forwards. And now on to rotating around. So your shoulders are moving, your back is starting to twist, your hips are starting to wake up. And then opening up your chest. And then moving down onto the hips. So a bit of a rotation. Bit of a chance to show off your hula hooping skills if you have any. I have none. But you can show them off if you have some skills, and indeed if you want to, pop that in the Facebook group. And then onto a bit of a march on the spot, and wide legs, narrow legs, and wide, and back together, and wide, and together, wide, together, wide, together, wide, together, wide. Whole purpose being that you warm up and you're getting a little bit out of breath. Okay, now on to the main set. We're going to start with just jogging on the spot. So I'm just turning around so you can see that I'm just jogging on the spot. Ideally keep your head up. I was looking down because I landed on a stone. So you're just jogging away at whatever pace you are comfortable doing. Ideally by the end of this 30 seconds you're going to be a little bit out of breath, but nothing too bad. You shouldn't be gasping for breath. You want to be, and if that means that jogging was too much, then walk on the spot or slow down the jog. It's absolutely fine. The purpose is to have you nicely out of breath, not dead on your feet. And remember, you're only ever doing 30 seconds and then you have a 30-second rest. So next up, we're grabbing the tins of beans, ready to do lateral raises. So your arms are going out to the side, up to about shoulder height. Back stays straight. There's no other movement. It's just your arms going up to shoulder height. Okay, so there's no moving your back. There's no sort of backwards and forwards movement. It's just your arms go out to the side. There we are, 30 seconds over already. And don't forget, in these 30-second rests, you can always have a sip of water if you want to. You can have a bit of a walk around. You can have a bit of a sit down if you want to. The whole point is that we do 30 seconds and then we stop for 30 seconds, and then we do for 30 seconds, and then we stop for 30 seconds. So for the next 30 seconds, we're hanging on to the tins of beans. And we're doing front raises. So exactly the same as the lateral ones, but out to the front. And again, it's just your arms moving from your shoulders. You're not flexing your back. And up to about shoulder height, maybe slightly higher. But the important thing is that you're not leaning backwards as your arm comes up, so your spine and your hips aren't moving. Okay, and 30 seconds done. And again, have a sip of water if you want to. So next up we're doing squats again. So you're keeping feet and knees about hip width apart, back stays more or less straight, and you're going as though to sit on a chair basically. Or if you want to, you can use a chair. So rather than just going to sit on a chair, you can actually sit down to the chair and stand back up again. If you feel that your knees would be thankful for that, then that's no problem at all. And for the last thing, we are going to need a chair. So we're going to do leg swings. So you hold onto the chair, or indeed a bit of wall or whatever, just so you hold your balance. And your leg comes out to the side and across in front of the other leg. Okay, and again your upper body stays as still as possible. You're just holding onto the chair for balance. And you want to do 3 or 4 swings each side and then swap sides for the 30 seconds. Okay. All done. So we're then on to a bit of cool down. So once again, arm across the front of you, so you stretch out your shoulder. And the other side. Get those shoulders nicely stretched off so that they're happy. And then one arm behind you, and you can either hold from your elbow or push up from under your arm. That's to get your tricep, so the muscle under your arm, stretched out. And the other hand sort of hangs down between your shoulder blades. And swap sides, and again you can hold from the elbow or from under the arm. And as you can see, the hand just sort of hangs between your shoulder blades. And as I've mentioned before, you don't need to keep going round and round. I'm just doing that so that you can see. And then a big tree hug to stretch your back. And pushing into your lower back or pulling your hands behind you, whichever you're happiest with, so that you open out your chest. That's it. And grab a leg. If you want to hold on to a bit of wall, obviously do. Your knees want to be fairly close together, and sort of push your hips forward slightly so that you really feel a stretch down the front of the leg that is bent. The leg that's straight shouldn't feel anything other than maybe a bit of imbalance. And there we are again, knees together, nice stretch down the front of the bent leg. And on to stretching out the hamstrings. So we've got a nice straight leg with the toes up so that it stretches in the back of the straight leg, behind the knee, behind the thigh. And certainly anybody wanting to do much running, this is a really key stretch, because your hamstrings do get quite tight if you run or cycle very much. Indeed, horse riding as well makes them pretty tight. So if you feel that this is quite a stubborn stretch, then go back to it at the end and do that one again. Indeed, any of them, if there's any stretches. And for this one, it's now just stretching the calves. So you're just bending your knees so that your calf muscles get a good stretch. But yes, if there are any stretches you feel you need to go back to, there's no harm in doing them again. And we're done. That is exercise for module 3 all done. As with all the others, if you want to go back and do the main set 2, 3, 4 times before you do the cool down, that's why you've got the headlines on there. So you can do warm up, main set, main set, main set, main set, cool down, or you can do it just exactly as it is. That is entirely up to you, and there's no right or wrong.